Hi there, Scott Hamilton, ROCKFILE. Back with another podcast review for your ears. Going to be talking about Kenneth Branagh's The Death on the Nile. Kenneth Branagh's version of Murder on the Orient Express was a nice surprise. I picked it up on a Black Friday for like $10 because Blu-ray reviews were incredible for the 4K. It was a native 4K transfer. It looked spectacular. It sounded great, and it really did. And I was impressed with the version. Mom grew up feeding me novels as I was growing up, and Agatha Christie were some of my first favorites. And we saw the movies with Peter Ustinov playing Hercule Poirot, and just murdered that name. And I like Kenneth Branagh's take on it. I liked the first movie. I thought it was well made. It didn't blow me away, but it was good, and it was a throwback to movies they don't make anymore. So I had been waiting for Death of the Nile, and I guess it got postponed due to COVID or whatever, and I missed it in theaters and finally caught it on HBO Max. I was going to pick up the 4K because the first one looked so great, but I thought I'd check it out first, and I'm glad I did, but not in a bad way, if that makes any sense. The short version is, this is actually a little bit better than Murder on the Orient Express. So if you like that, and you like Agatha Christie type movies, this is a good one. Go check it out right now. It just came out on Blu-ray and the streaming services and all that, so you can rent it or buy it or whatever. But the long version is, there is an incredible cast of characters, a lot of great actors, one controversial, I guess, after he starred in the movie. Anyway, I'm not going to talk too much about specifics or specific characters. Normally I would say this actor did this or that. But I think anything I would say would give you hints or clues, and I don't want to do that. It's an Agatha Christie story, for crying out loud, and everybody's a suspect. And then you know who's going to die by the end. I was surprised at the body count, even though I know the story. I really enjoyed a lot of the locations. It looked pretty realistic for the most part. Looked great. I was watching it streaming on HBO Max, and it didn't look as good as Murder on the Orient Express, but HBO Max does not put much of their content up in 4K with HDR, so I would like to see a 4K disc of this movie. I thought Kenneth Branagh did another amazing job as the main character, Hercule Poirot, and I thought everybody else was really good in it. I mean, you have to pull these movies off, because reactions to things and glances and things like that, it all means a lot when you add it all up at the end usually. I've read a lot of reviews of this, and people talked bad about this, so much computer-generated imagery. I don't know. I didn't think there was anything too distracting. I thought it looked pretty realistic for the most part. But then again, I play a lot of video games that look pretty realistic to me too, so there you go. But all in all, if you're a fan of murder mysteries, like the kind of movies they don't make anymore, and Agatha Christie movies and stories, I think this is a good version of the story from what I know of it, from what I remember. I have not read the novel in decades. The one thing I noticed about this movie, and if it's a critique at all, is there's bookends on the movie, and I don't know if they really fit or not. Like I said, it's been way too long since I read the book, so I couldn't tell you. And I barely remember the old movie. But we get a black and white vignette at the beginning that basically is the origin of his mustache. And then at the end we have an epilogue of something else with him. And I don't know, if that's in the book and part of the adaptation, I'm in. But if it wasn't, I don't know that we needed it. The story felt self-contained without those two things. I guess it does inform the character a little bit in places. Now that the more I think about it, I just literally finished it, so I'm still digesting it as I speak this. It's funny. Some things I come and do a podcast immediately after, and then other things I wait a day or two to fully digest. Like I've been planning for a couple days to do my review of Foundation because it took me a while to get through it, and I'd like to share my thoughts. But anyway. The short version was good enough for this review. If you liked Murder on the Orient Express, you haven't seen that yet, and you like murder mysteries, check it out. If you like that, watch this. I think it was very well done. Nice surprises, well acted all the way around, well filmed, well shot. It looks classic. It feels classic. And I hope they make more. I know it wasn't a huge success due to its staggered release, and now it's finally out on home video. Maybe it will find a home. But I don't know that the first one did. Well, it made enough money worldwide for them to greenlight a sequel, and I have not heard whether they're going to make more, but I'd be all in if they do. So far, so good. 2 for 2. Good job, Kenneth Branagh. Scott Hamilton, I'm ROCKFILE. My links are below. Exclusive stuff is on Patreon. I hope you have a spectacular day, and thanks for listening.